Hi, Najia. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me back. We had so much fun on the first interview with me.
Yes, we did. It went we just kept going, didn't want to stop. It was really
I
fun.
know we went, it was a long show. I hope
Yeah.
you
Hope
enjoy
you
it.
all enjoyed it. Yes. Cool.
I hope you all enjoyed it as much as we did, but really some good stuff. And I hope that it's very enlightening and inspires you. Would love to hear from you in the comments section.
Yes, please comment down below on what you thought about that one and what you think about today. Guess what we're talking about today? I'm so excited. We are talking about Najia's chakra dance or dance chakra. How do you call it?
Yeah, I do. I do a couple things with the chakras. I do belly dancing, teaching them spiritual belly dance with the chakras, with a
Okay.
special attention to the chakras. And for people who aren't interested in learning formal belly dance training and learning routines and combinations and stuff, who just want to experience chakra movement, I have created a sensual chakra movement class. It's very wow,
Oh, wow.
I say meditative and then
Yeah.
feeling goes by.
That's okay. Okay,
But
so
it could
okay.
be for men or women. The sensual
Oh,
chakra
wonderful.
could be for men or women.
Mhm.
Not that both couldn't be, but it's kind of what I do is more female empowerment. But the sensual chakra, I would like everyone to experience who's open to that.
Yeah.
And it's like a meditation movement class and
Okay.
really feeling your energy and moving from just that energy, moving your muscle and skeleton. The same thing happens in the belly dance chakra class, in the spiritual belly dance class, or just even in my regular belly dance classes, people ask for it. So I always end
Okay.
up teaching that as part of my base because
Wow.
it allows fluid movement, very fluid, sensual movement, rich, luscious movement.
Amazing. How did you get started with chakras?
Well, I didn't know they were chakras when I started. I was a little child. I was a toddler, in fact, and
Really?
I had a lot of knowledge. I talked about it in the other video, but I had a lot of knowledge of the realm I was from before I came to Earth, and huge, rich knowledge and certain spiritual practices I did, and um, even manifestation practices, and um,
So what kind of things did you do when you were a child that would make you think that later in life that it was about that, the chakra?
oh, okay. Well, I did this thing that I called counting the colors. And okay, I'll tell you how this all happened.
Really? Okay.
I had a friend visiting that I grew up with, and she was visiting from Baltimore, and she came to my apartment to see me. And I was in the midst of um, living my life through default, not conscious living. Okay. So I was kind of in victim mode. Everything was hard, struggling, pushing walls, trying
Okay.
so hard. And I was also having these issues like if it's so crazy, but like if I get angry, like what happened with us, if I get really angry, but I don't exactly like I hold it in, but I just got
Right.
like a light, like the street light would explode above
Oh,
us.
wow.
Or someone says something, this is terrible, but somebody like do something nasty to me, and then we're in the room and the light bulb would explode. And
Okay. That
at
energy
that
was,
moment, and
oh my gosh.
this kept happening, and then I was going through this thing with my car dying, like, and these my car had all this overheating problems, like, overheating's like, right, the radiator, and 4 mechanics, nobody would work on it. They said, "Your car's spooked," or "Your car's haunted." I'm like, "What are you
No way.
talking
What?
about?" This
Why
kept
would
happening to me, and then, like, I moved into this apartment, I was so mad, like, I love to make homemade pasta from scratch and all this homemade food and put in the freezer. It had a
yeah.
tiny little freezer, right?
Okay.
And this is a roundabout way the chakras, but had a tiny little freezer, and I got so mad, I'm like, "Ugh, I got this huge apartment with 2 bedrooms and a tiny little freezer, and I'm a cook, and I wanna make homemade pastas and store them up in the freezer and all this other homemade stuff and soups and everything, and
Hmm.
there's no room."
Right.
And I just was so angry. and I was a different person back then, let's put it that way.
Hey, you're
And and the whole refrigerator turned into a freezer, and then I was so mad that the electric bill was so high. I'm like, "Why is the heat bill so high? It's like 10 times what it should be," and I'm like, "What's going on?" And I thought maybe the downstairs, I was paying for the store downstairs, and then and then the thermostat, like, then the heat didn't work at all. The heat just completely went off. So my landlord's like, "What? I have a brand new refrigerator. I don't understand. It's brand new. How can it freeze over?" The whole thing became a freezer. The heat went off. Like all this weird
Oh
stuff.
my
My
gosh.
car's haunted. This kind of stuff plagued me. Oh yeah, I used to get this is I used I was working part-time at a travel agency.
Yeah.
And I loved it, really nice people. And I worked there part-time because wanted to travel. I love travel and all that. I thought kind of get me into that industry a little bit. And my friend got me that job. And then, but I couldn't take all the noise of the phones constantly ringing.
Uh,
Wasn't used to that. I'm used to working in a quiet photo studio
oh
or
wow,
as
that's a
an
big difference.
illustrator, kind of in the quiet. And it was like constant ringing of the phones. I was like, I can't take it. I can't take it. The phones. And I told my friend, I can't take it. The phones keep ringing. And then what kept happening is, can you imagine what happened later? The phone would stop ringing, and hours would go by, and they're like, "What's going on with the phones? We can make calls, but have you noticed we can't receive calls?
Right.
Has anybody
Oh
received
my
a call?"
gosh.
A whole massive floor of a travel agency. They're like, "This happened like 3 times," and then
Really.
my friend said to me, she goes, You should quit."
She told you
But
to do what?
I should quit because it's not fair to them.
Because you're like making them not have any
'Cause of my
business.
anger, like, she
Yeah.
goes,
Oh,
because I had this problem, like, attracting
right.
negatively. It's just like,
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you were attracting what you wanted, but you were just doing it in that way because that's probably your easiest way to get a lot of power towards
yeah.
whatever it was with the anger. Wow.
Anyway, I was telling my friend about it, Carol, and she's like, "Wow, do you realize that you're causing this?" I'm like, "Yeah, but it's like hell." She goes, "But you can attract
Or yeah.
positively, right?" And she goes, "You can make beautiful things happen in your life for good if you can just learn to funnel this in a different manner,
It's what
right?"
all those movies and things are about with powerful people. It starts out a lot like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she brought me some books from Abraham,
Yes.
Esther Hicks and Jerry and Esther Hicks,
Mhm.
and gave me some tapes to listen to borrow. And then, and I said, I know how to do this stuff. I go, I'm afraid of it. I go, I knew it from childhood, like about the electricity and the powers that be, the things going around in the air. I kind of knew that from being a toddler, right?
Mhm.
And it's part of the knowledge I forgot. Like I was told, anyway, not to mess with stuff like that in this realm, all right? And a lot of the stuff was taken from me, my knowledge, but I did remember something I did all the time that I called counting the colors. And I told her about, she goes, "What else do you remember from childhood?" I go, "Counting the colors, right?" And I said, "Yeah, I would surround myself with red and I would lie down. And it was a way I would calm down and
Yeah.
feel free, and a way to leave, to
Mhm.
just like not feel bound by the earth and by my backyard." And I would go, just like red, 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 picture red, 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 red. I would bathe myself in red light until I felt it fully, until I was ready to allow the next color. And I would count. I would call it count because I was a kid. I was like toddler, 3 years old. I would go orange, 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 orange. I go through all the colors. I was like 3, 4 years old. And I continued to do this after I had the big forgetting, right? That was one of the things I remembered. And it really made me feel good.
Yeah.
And I remember that how I wanted to. Anyway, she told me, "Hey, you're doing chakra meditation."
Yep.
I'm like, "What's chakras?" And she explained, I'm 30 years old. She's explaining what chakras are. She would go to all these like new age workshops, always checking things out. And I thought, oh, what a world to go to workshops. I want to go to workshops
Yeah.
and have fun and learn
Yeah.
things. And then I told her what happened when I would do it, and she goes, "Oh, that's astral travel, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I heard about that before. Somebody told me about that at work, one of the photographers I work with, and but I didn't know that that's I thought they had a different way of doing it, whatever." I didn't put much stock in it because, my mind was on other things, I was working my career, really trying hard as an artist, as an illustrator, photo stylist, this, that. And I was hitting a lot of walls because I was in a different mindset and I wasn't allowing, like everything had to be hard. That was my mindset.
Mhm.
Everything, and actually sometimes my
Yes,
mind goes there still.
really.
Yeah, I just like let it flow, right? So she said, you can really, she said, I tend to notice. She goes, I really love you and care about you. And she says, I notice sometimes you kind of default to victim mode. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I've experienced a lot of bad things in my life, all the horrible things you hear that happen to women.
Mhm.
And we'll go into that. But, all that kind of stuff, right? And yeah, my mind goes there. And I wanted to create a beautiful life. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to learn to belly dance, and I wanted to be a successful illustrator, you know?
Mhm.
And I didn't want to have to rely on my photo styling because at that point I had moved out of New York and I was commuting to New York to do that work. So I kind of wanted to be able to work from home in my pajamas. So that was my goal. And to draw, because that's what I went to college for. Like, why am I not drawing for a living?
Right, exactly.
Right? Yeah. So she said, you can do that. You can do that. And so I started to embrace now everything I was rejecting for years. Because when I went through all that, losing the downloads and losing a lot of it, and trying to tell my mom and try to tell other people, even friends, people made fun of me or they discounted it. So I felt like, okay, let's not go there. And then you have the whole Catholic girl thing.
Right.
Oh, that's like, what is that? Witchcraft? Is that, what, psychic stuff? Oh, don't do that. You'll burn in hell.
Mm, yeah.
All that. And so I really had a lot of fear of my own inner, not power, my sense of self, my soul, whatever, my spirit, my light. Was afraid of my own light. Do you understand?
Ugh,
So
that sounds painful. Yeah,
yeah, it
hard.
was. It really was. I mean, I could feel it like, oh, people would say when I work, I didn't know what I was doing when I was a photo stylist early on. I was this young girl in New York. And I was like, I didn't really know what I was doing. People would teach me on the spot. And I go, why do you guys keep hiring me? They're like, well, you're good for the studio. I know you don't know what you're doing. This is what they kept saying to me. We know you don't know what you're doing, but you're a hard worker and you're like sunshine. You make everybody else get along.
That's it
People
right
who
there.
normally fight don't fight with each other when you're here.
Aw.
And I'm like, great.
Yeah.
And they're like, don't worry, you'll catch on.
Oh,
So
that's sweet though. I love that. That's nice
yeah,
that
I
you're
want to be
see your
sunshine.
light.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to be the light. So that part of my light I felt good with. And I
Mhm.
would bake cookies every Sunday and bring them in on
Oh,
Monday.
okay. I'm sure they
Just
love that too.
oh
It's
yeah, they love that homemade food. So I was comfortable being the light in that way, being sunshine, bringing the vibe up as far as, you know, I don't gossip,
others.
like
Yeah.
not, we're just doing nice things and making everyone get along and getting everyone on a good level and having good work relationships and things like that. And of course, the baking treats. But I didn't know how to embrace my inner power light and feel comfortable with that. So Carol said, you should start trying to do that again, like what you did. See if
Mhm.
you can astral travel. So I did try that as an
Okay.
adult,
Yeah.
right? Twice. And I went through my shelf above the bed.
Wow.
I and I felt like all this pain. So it was very different than when I was a child. And it
Mhm.
was like severe pain. I almost thought I was having a heart attack. It
Okay.
was, I felt like my innards were being sucked out of me like a vacuum. And I
Oh,
just said, no. And I fell back down to
came
my
back. Yeah.
and I did that twice. I said, okay, never again. Because
Okay.
I like was really afraid I would die.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean, I would have been too if I was feeling pain and like all that too. I would have been like, is this this isn't what I was trying to do. I'm not trying to leave here
No.
yet.
So what I did was I started doing the chakra work or counting the colors in a safe way in my dance because I was drawn to do it when I got injured. When I
Okay.
got injured, my spine was injured. I lost a lot of my power seeing auras. I felt the disconnect because I used to see auras like all the time. And then it kind of like went away when with the spinal injuries throughout my spine. So, and I had some partial paralysis. I had a lot of problems. I still have some, but I'm a beautiful dancer, so
Yes, you are.
I use this method to help my body move, and it does other things. It heals. So one of the things I did originally, I did a couple unsuccessful ones. Like I did like they were unsuccessful because they were too intense. I have live
Okay.
drumming. I draped the room in red. Like I did this whole thing with live music, with live drummers came in, a couple live drummers.
What made
Um,
it too intense? Was it there was like people said something or you felt it was too much or
People love the atmosphere and they got really into like the movement, like in the root chakra and the dancing. And we had I, but they got actually ill. Everyone was throwing up. It was really weird both times.
oh,
It was too intense.
much, yeah, too much energy and
So
power.
I kind of combined that because I was trying to like kind of stay consistent with Arabic dance and do a blend. So I had like a red czar and
Okay.
an orange czar. If you know what the czar is, it's kind of appeasing
Yeah.
the jinn
They
inside.
might, okay. I was
So
gonna
I
say
think
maybe
that was not
everybody.
the right way to go. I was kind of messing with some things I shouldn't have messed with. I just was innocent. So then I decided years later, I had gone through another series of my body not working after having been very successful dancer. You saw all the things I went through and on TV a lot and all kinds of things and traveling the world and all that. And then I'm dealing with like all these problems with injuries. And intuitively, I was called to start embracing this again. And what I would do is I started these goddess nights. Now I've always had goddess nights since back, I think when you were with me belly dancing at Mainline School Night. I may
Mhm.
have they had their rehearsal night, but if I taught somewhere else, I might call it a goddess night.
Okay.
And it was just a show night, and then eventually it became okay. We work with veils that night, and then it became we work with veils, and we bring a vegan or vegetarian potluck, and then I got really serious about it. I said, this is going to be a sacred space. And I rented this amazing place every month in media. And instead of having a goddess night at each school
Right.
at the end of their series,
Everyone come there.
I had it, yeah. And I didn't charge, I'm not charging my students for it. So if they were already taking class with me, it's free. So if they say, oh, I don't want to travel there, I'm like, you're not paying for it.
Right.
I'm spending, all this money decorating and doing all this work, and I'm not charging you for it. So please do not complain. You
Right.
know?
No.
And
Yeah.
that kind of weeded out the people the complainers, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then you got all the people that are appreciative. I didn't mean to do this. This just is what happened naturally. The universe arranged it. Then I got a lot of really appreciative people that were drawn. They must be there, They would
Yeah.
drive an hour and a half to be there because they just knew it was special.
Yeah.
And I taught different things because
Okay.
I had the people that were receptive. So I taught all my spiritual dance that I really do, that
Mhm.
I've done all these years in order for my body to work. And a lot of times I would have a lesson plan that was sort of normal. And then what happens is I always say a prayer before I would do this that I'm there for the people who show up.
Yes.
And whatever they need to learn is going to come out of me. So of course, all this channeled stuff will come out of me, and they would go, "Oh, Najia, that's brilliant! Oh my God, I never thought of it that way." Or I learned this. This is amazing material, and they're like, "Where did you?" I'm like
Where did they come
thinking.
from?
I said,
Uh,
I, I'm just learning this now. I don't know how to explain it to you. It just kind of came to me right now,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
and then people would say, "Are you channeling?" Because they would see me kind of go into a state, and I'm like, I go, well, maybe. Because I'm not this smart. I may be smart, but I'm not this smart.
Right, I know what you're saying. Yeah, yeah.
Like, where
Oh,
is this
wow.
coming from? And it was brilliant solutions for
Okay.
movement and dance and how to get people hooked up
Yeah.
to that inner goddess and move like that. So then, because every month we had this goddess night, these miracles were happening with people.
Mm,
I mean, I loved it. So I decided to make an experimental class, a
okay.
small group of people who knew me for a long time. They all knew me for a long time. They studied their traditional belly dance with me. And I said, "Hey, I'm doing experimental class and we're going to meet every other week for 2 hours. It can't be a 1 hour. It has to be 2 hours to go deep." And I started with the heart chakra because that's not scary to people. If I
Yeah.
start with the root chakra, it can bring up all kinds
Yeah.
of
Some
things,
people, right.
right?
Yeah.
It's for so many reasons. So I
Yeah.
started with the heart chakra, and I'm trying to explain what I do because what I do, I I learned to open up my heart to receive, like and and to give. In my dance, I do that as a prayer because like a lot of times people think, "Oh, you're just like, oh, whatever sexy belly dancer." I'm thinking they don't
You
realize
know,
I'm
yeah.
praying the whole time I'm dancing. I am literally praying and I'm praying in gratitude because my body can work. Because you knew all the stuff I went through before,
Yeah. Mhm.
right? All the medical issues,
I
right?
remember, yeah.
So I was always grateful, and that was spirit moving through me. So I wanted to teach people how to allow spirit to move through your body and not do dance moves. You know,
Yeah.
don't just do muscular skeletal moves and memorize choreography. I really wanted them to dance.
Feel it. Yeah.
To feel it and to control it. Because if I dance from certain points, it had a certain communication. It also had a certain healing effect. Because
Okay.
I noticed when I would spend time with my heart chakra and I would, I'm a giver, but I was also had a really hard time receiving. It's a big thing with me. Okay. So I
Mhm.
had to learn to feel comfortable receiving. And I got this knowledge in different points of the body. I've never studied, I purposely don't study chakras formally because I'm still downloading information after, was it 7 years of this course that I
Okay.
teach? I'm still getting information, but some of the information is slowing down. So
Okay.
once I get all the information,
Then you'll speak more.
then I'll start looking
Mhm.
and so because some of the people say, "Oh, that's different than what other people do." I go, "But this is what I do for the
That's what you do.
what we need to do."
Yeah, that's
And it
what
works, and it works, and it works, and it works, okay? I said, but I don't wanna be influenced yet because I want the teaching to remain pure for now. S And I would get these downloads about all these different heart points and what they do, what they all do, like, here, in the back, and then in the wrist and the hand and the finger. And then, I would teach that to them. And by the way, I decided to teach my acupuncturist because she
oh,
had taken class with me,
okay.
one of my acupuncturists, and she had taken class with me a while back. And I
Okay.
said, "Oh, I said, you should see what I do now. It's so different." I gave her like a brief lesson at the end of our session because it was the end of the day, and she had been done extra things for me, And I said, "Let me do something for you." So I gave her like a brief lesson, and she goes, "How do you know all the acupuncture points for the heart chakra? This does this, this does." I'm like, I, I don't really know this. It's
Wow, that's
it's just that I was told
beautiful.
this
Mhm.
does this does this. She goes, "That's exactly what I do in acupuncture." So I don't know about acupuncture, but anyway, so
Yeah.
there is a correlation between that. Okay, so I taught the heart chakra, and I said, okay, there's various parts of the heart chakra. We're going to work with opening to receive because that's something a lot of women have difficulty with
Yeah.
receiving because we're caretakers,
We are.
right?
Yep.
It's hard. And we get stuck in that role, and then people expect us to always have that role on, and they get mad if we switch
Try
roles,
to do
right?
something for ourselves. And
Just something simple, right?
yeah, just a little something.
So I said, listen, it's a beautiful way to dance. And we're also going to learn how to take those blessings that we receive and spread them on the earth because you're all good at that, right? But we're going to learn to really consciously do it. And and I show them how it makes a beautiful dance. And and I gave them homework for 2 weeks. And
Okay.
I said, technically, if you do this, I had to give them some incentive. I go, technically, if you do this, I've noticed this in my life, that you tend to manifest what you want. You're allowing the universe to give to you. So I know this is very different than what you've learned from me before, but you all trust and love me. So please do the homework.
Mm-hmm.
Please, you know, just kind of go with the flow for this, for these 2 months. There was 4 nights over, it's 8 hours, right?
Yeah.
Over 2 months. I go, please just trust me because I know you love me and you do trust me because you've taken with me for years.
Right.
Try this other way. All right. And see if anything in your outer life changes because you're going to change your inner world right now. You're going to change your vibration by doing this prayer dance.
Yeah. Nice.
And you're just opening up. And so the one woman, she said, Najia, I am deciding because I am so unhappy in my job. I've been there 8 years. I got laid off and I'm working for half the pay I did. I turned 50 and I'm having trouble getting the job level that I want because I'm over 50. And she goes, on top of it, I got beat up twice out in the parking lot of my job. She
Okay.
goes, I go, the first time I got really beat up because I didn't have money. The second time I made sure I had money. And she goes, I feel threatened going to work and I don't even make half of what I used to. Because when
Right.
she had gotten laid off, she had a really hard time after unemployment getting the kind of job she deserved because she was older, whatever. So she goes, I'm going to manifest this. I'm going to manifest a safe place to work and better pay because I deserve it. I said, you do.
Yeah.
And so she did her homework every morning and night.
Okay.
She did a dance. And she came in early before class, like, everyone's arriving. She's the first one. She's like, can't wait to tell you, can't wait to she's like all excited. She's like, I got 3 job offers. She goes, I gotta wait for
Oh,
everybody else. I gotta wait for everybody else. I can't wait to tell everybody what's going on. And so
that's
she
so
had
exciting.
3 job offers, right?
Right?
One was 12,000 more than she makes. One was 18,000 more. These are big amounts. And one was 20,000 more than she makes. So 12,
Wow.
18, 20, they all had positive, they were all in safe
Yeah. Pros and
neighborhoods. So she
cons.
wasn't going to get beat up. And and they were like, not too far from where she lived. I mean, not like she didn't have to go too far, maybe 20
Yeah.
minutes in different locale. But they all had advantages and disadvantages, like, and she wasn't like money wasn't her only factor. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Oh, I'm so
So she
curious.
had a hard time deciding. And she picked, I think, the middle one.
The middle one.
And
Okay.
yeah, and then she wished she had picked maybe whatever another one. But so she ended up making all this money, getting a better pay grade, and then she wasn't really happy there because she
Oh.
forgot to manifest, I also want to be happy there.
Oh. Oh.
And then
Right.
she ended up manifesting just the
She
right
had more
stuff.
money than what she deserved, but she wasn't happy. Okay.
Exactly. But she also had to be happy.
Okay, but
And
she knows she could do it.
she knew she could do it, so she did it again.
Yeah.
And she continued her homework and taking the course. And then after everyone trusted me and people's outer lives changed, their family
Right.
life, their life with their kids. And I had one school teacher, it really changed how the students treated her. So everyone trusted me by then. It's like, okay, now we're going to do the root chakra. And the root chakra, what I did was I draped the floors all in red veils. I had so many red veils. I draped the walls all in red veils. So we're totally like when I was little, thing,
Yeah.
right? And the
Okay.
first night they arrived, just because I didn't want it to be scary as we go into the root chakra, because there's a lot of
There's a
fear
lot.
there.
Yeah.
There's also
It
sexual parts and
represents a lot. That.
moving
Yeah.
from there. Yeah. So I did this whole mystical, beautiful thing, with candles and red fabric and incense and everything, and made it like this. So first off, the relaxed just coming in like, wow, right? Art, mystery.
Yeah.
I'm away from all the stress and the kids and this and that and work, and they're here now. They're in my cocoon of red.
Mhm.
So they felt great, right?
Yeah.
So they're feeling good. They're trusting me. And then And then we work on the root chakra, we go all the way up sacral, then we go up to the heart chakra again.
Mhm.
And then we got to the heart, solar plexus and then the heart. And I have a big solar plexus story. That saved my mom's life twice.
Oh,
I'll
wow.
tell you maybe in another time. Yeah.
Okay, that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, by wanting to help others and listening to my intuition, made a huge difference
Wow.
in my life. And so anyway, okay. So then we get back to
Inspiring.
the
I love
heart
it.
chakra. I just want to stick to like one person because I know we could talk forever.
Yes, we can.
So then she says, Najia, what about attracting love? Do you
Mm,
know how to do that? I said, yeah. I said, yeah, but I'm not going to do it as a whole course. She goes, I really want to attract my soulmate. I really want to find my soulmate. It's time. I'm 50 years old and I really want to meet that person. I haven't had that. So I said, well, I asked Spirit what to do. So I said, let me ask Spirit and see if I get the answer.
yeah.
Okay. Because I think I know, but I'm not sure.
Right.
And then I kind of go into that space where I get the answers. Because by then they're okay. They know I'm channeling and all that.
Yeah.
So I'm
Okay.
comfortable doing it right in front of them in an obvious way.
Yeah.
Nothing weird. Just
Oh, yeah. I got
just look at another part of your, just ask
it.
and receive. So no weird voices or anything like that. I get blocks of thought and then I have to interpret them.
Okay.
Or I see light and it becomes a block of thought and I interpret it.
Okay.
So not or some words just come out of my mouth sometimes, but they sound normal.
Okay.
And okay, so that's also happens.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, that's good information. Where did I get that?
Right. It's like, wow, that's just totally.
Wow.
Yeah. That's really cool. I love that.
Who is that? Because I'm not
It's
that
like that.
intelligent. I'm like smart, but boy, whoa.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we have so much more inside of us. We only use a small part of our brain, our whole being.
Yes.
So I said, I have the answer, but listen, I can't do it in my body because I'm not ready to attract my soulmate. I have a lot going on. I had a lot of caretaking to do, a lot of stuff I'm dealing with that I don't have time for anyone right now. And I had to heal from my past relationship, from my marriage. So I couldn't do it. I said, but I'm going to teach you on one night and you're going to do the homework because I know you will.
Yes.
So I got the answer. I'm going to show you what to clear, what you need to do to clear the pain, and how to go into this emerald cave in your heart, how to clear the pain in the back part of the heart chakra, and how to go into this emerald cave, and how to then bring it up to open up the light into that cave and up in the high heart and to attract your soulmate. But I'm not going to do it, so you're not going to see me move the way I normally do. We're going to direct you because then if once I embrace it, I start attracting it, and
Got
I'm not ready.
not ready for that. Yeah.
All right, so I got everyone through that, and people's relationships improved, but she was massively doing her homework, as you know. She's was my success story. I think it was within a couple months,
Wow.
she's like in this hot and heavy relationship with someone she already knew,
Oh, really?
but didn't
They didn't see them that way.
know.
How interesting.
But he opened up that he, had
He
these
was
feelings for her. And then she's like, oh, wow. And, and then they were dating hot and heavy. And then they wanted to see, could they live together?
mhm.
So he moved in for a while. They still had their own places. He moved in for a while. And she's like, wow, this is great.
Okay.
And then
Exciting.
they're married. And then for years now, since then, I see them on Facebook and they're so happy. And then I wrote to her and
That's
and I said, "Oh my God, you guys are just such lovebirds." I go, "Tell me, because is it really like this? how I know, because everything on
How you
Facebook
can see,
is
yeah, you can't
yeah.
be sure if
She
it's
goes, "It's really like this. We're real soulmates." And
oh,
I said, "I'm so happy to hear that." I go, "When I'm ready, I'm gonna do my own teaching."
yeah.
I know what to do. I know what to do when I'm ready.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
I love that. So what kind of things are you offering now for people?
Oh, yeah. So right now I have I always have my inner if anyone ever wants to try a different method of belly dancing, but already has experience, I have an intermediate advanced class.
Okay.
Okay. And I have one that's kind of my dance troupe, which is the Dancing Oracle. And we do kind of more. I have 1,001 Dreams, which is traditional Egyptian, but I have the Dancing Oracle, which now we're focusing on all that.
Okay,
So we
yeah.
focus more on the mystical side of the dance, and that's on Wednesdays. And on Thursdays, I normally have my intermediate, regular Egyptian, American Cabaret blend, but I always have that chakra base now because everyone wants it. And
Wow.
then I made a beginner class
Okay.
on Thursdays for belly dance, which also includes chakra because that's what everyone's asking for. I
Yeah.
try to do a normal class and everyone's like, Najia, teach that chakra stuff. It's really
That's
helping us
important.
so much. And then I made just a chakra class. It's called Sensual Chakra Movement. It's like a very meditative class. That one
Okay.
starts, I think that starts after Thanksgiving
Okay.
at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I know everyone here on YouTube is a different time zone.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're in California, I have some students that moved to California. So
Okay.
6 p.m. California time, right after, or 5 p.m., whatever it is, 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
I'm
you can put it
6.
all the times down if you like, so
Yeah.
you can like do
Yeah.
all four.
Yeah, so I have that, and then as far as chakra world, and I do tarot readings, and I have tarot night on Zoom, and I teach little workshops that help improve the lives of women. I have
Beautiful.
a full moon release workshop on Zoom. Some of the normal stuff and some of the unique things I do for that for myself. So there's a
That's
donation
also
based
amazing.
on that.
You're
Yeah,
a real gem. You have a lot of things to offer and give to
I
people,
do.
share. Yeah.
Hey, I could talk forever, but I know our time is short tonight, and I'm really looking forward to having you back on my channel for a lot of things. We have so much fun together.
We do. I look forward to it as well. Like, we can get together anytime you like.
Oh, I'd love that. So
Yeah.
listen, everybody, just remember this to subscribe to both our channels. It
Yep.
does help us keep doing this kind of work.
Like the video.
Yeah, and hit the bell, and everything's free. It does help us. It helps if you hit the like button, it helps us to get seen by other people besides our regular Facebook followers,
That's
'cause,
right.
and our regular social media followers. We want to reach a wider audience.
Yeah.
We want to have everyone tap into their intuition more.
Yeah, and definitely share the video with someone you
Oh
think
yeah,
would enjoy
share
it
because
and comment. All those things help so much. So we thank you very much.
thank you so much for having
Of
me.
course, beautiful friend.
All right, I'll see you on the other side of the full moon that's coming up.
All right, we'll
All
see
right,
you then.
okay, bye.
Love.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.